and they turn it into absolute domination from the high ground. A tie that was broken in such glorious form. Badil and Noah Riley ride the wave.
What an interesting way to go.
Wave.
Things. We saw so many of our
another wave.
teams deep into the game. They feel the pressure and they are delivering, making sure that nobody
oh my God.
can steal their places.
Are they actually the
I'm sure even with that being said, we will still see some shake-ups, especially after that win. So we'll kick it back to the desk to update you on everything that's gone on.
Dude. Well. What did I say? Resub asked me who's gonna bring it this game.
Do you remember I
and
took
look what
alright,
happened.
freaking Sleepy Sounds?
Come absolutely clutch.
What's up?
Goodness.
Wow, I'm telling you, man, E's games today have been absolutely insane. I kind of like mentioned it last game about how, or 2 games ago, saying that like a ton of
that was a good tournament.
Time to shine.
That was a good one.
Going like that, Reese. They're just duels keep
doing
it.
Yeah, and this was the deal. Noah's time, absolutely. You know, it started in the early game. We saw the engagements there. That mid-game push for them was absolutely critical. But for me, like the turning point of this game is the high ground retake for them. Right, this moment we're seeing right now, where they managed to actually claim height, and obviously that's the winning moment from the game, right? But it's a little bit more than that for me, because when you look back at the other games, this is what they lack. Like, you'd think that Noah really and Badil being so mechanically gifted, mid, low ground, they could just frag out, they could box fight and do so well, but that's not really what we actually see from this team. We usually see them struggle to get elims in that position. But put them on height like they are now, they frag out 9 eliminations in the Victory Royale.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it a little bit during when we were watching the games. You know, but Hen and Queasy were down. There was no Venom and Aqua. There was no Thomas H and Trippin. Who's going to be taking high? And you know, of the aggressive teams left alive, it was Badil and Noah who took the position. They took reign of this game, and they pretty much destroyed 2 United in Jamsud and height there.
Taken out. Obviously, we saw their Flawless having a fantastic game too, but it doesn't matter when you have Badil and Noah going up against the mechanical gods up on high ground, picking up that Victory Royale.
Absolutely insane. And yeah, just super quick, Reese. I mean, 10 eliminations on Flawless and Mappy. I mean, it can't be overlooked, but yeah, I mean, you saw the deal, right? You saw them, they were in their prime element.
But I can get 100 kills before the end of the game.
I mean, what we got to do is check out these standings, right? We'll have those for you guys in just a moment here, because that's really going to set the stage with a single game. Once again, please do not forget, it is the top 5 that will auto-qualify and go straight to finals. Everyone else is playing for series. It does not mean they're out. That just means they're going to have to work that much harder going to qualify next weekend. Analyx, X-Squeeze, note it down on mine, right? They're good. They're probably
why is this lady here?
There's no doubt on mine.
Yeah, 200+ points already. Basically, you know, breaking records out here. Not sure if that's true, but you know, it seems like they are, because they're just
that lady's just tripping me out. I'm out of here.
And you know, one of the things we mentioned, Hen and Queasy had
me too.
a really solid start. Last time, you know, on Friday they struggled a little bit. This time they were a lot more consistent, but they're slowly dropping down the leaderboard as these teams are having pop-up games.
Yeah, like what you want to see, right? Top 5 qualifiers, of course, but you can already see there's a bigger gap between kind of now Seti, Kami, Badil, and Noah. Those 2 teams probably just get a couple more points, maybe 10 points to secure it in, and they should be golden to stay within the top 5. What I'm interested in right now,
that shot's are strange.
All the way down to, I'm gonna say 8. Victory Royale with 10 elims should be like a guaranteed qual.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be with Wanda?
I honestly don't even know.
Oh my God.
What the threshold's gonna be. It seems in my
eyes
like it's gonna be more than last week, but every time I say that, it throws me off a little bit. Top 5 is gonna be so close in this final.
Holy
shit! It's all about individual performances. I'm
bro!
seeing a statistic coming out. Are you guys ready for it?
Ready.
Analyx has as many eliminations by himself, a total of 20, as every other.
You're trying to get up here, aren't you? I'm gonna come down.
20 by himself.
That's terrifying. I mean, the solo clutch remember he had 7 in that one game alone. So, like, absolutely fragging them ahead. That's why they're in first. That's why we know they've 100% qualified through to the finals so far. So, the next game, you know, they can take it easy. They can W key. They can do whatever they want, basically.
So far, so good.
I can't believe it's 2. One last game out of qualifier number 2. Okay, Fortnite fam. The stage is set. We're trying to make it in the top 5. Follow along with the casters. Watch that little medal on the bottom left, okay? Remember, we know what that threshold is, and we're trying to make sure we make it into the top 5. This is it. Final game in qualifier number 2. Shia Wedger, 11-2K. Bring us home, boys.
One more game to go and way past the halfway point of Qual's left. And this is where it all comes down to maybe one off-spawn fight, one moment in that endgame.
Yeah, we've seen how crazy some of these off-spawn fights can get. You can't afford to slip up. Not at this final hurdle, right? It has so much on the line. It means so much to these players.
Yo, what move am I doing here?
I feel like you're doing it every single day, and depending on what not only team that, you know, wins off of that off-spawn fight gets to play, it changes the way the entire lobby gets to dictate that mid and end game.
Yeah, so many of these teams rolling in from even different spots outside of Command Cabin. Everybody wants a piece of the action there, but ultimately only one person can come out on top.
Yeah, it's all about win a fight, move off the POI, get some damage, and win the game, hopefully. But sometimes it even looks like a solo FNCS in this game. The solo clutch is 11. We got one more, hopefully, to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who will step up next, right? We've seen it literally every single game now. Somebody just going absolutely insane, especially when it matters the most. And I think, if anything has taught us a lesson, you can't count out someone who is a solo. These guys will step up when it matters. And I think, honestly, if I'm one of the players in the lobby, I want to be a solo, maybe. Maybe I want to be a solo in the final moments, put their team on my back. We'll see what happens, though, right? We're going into the final game, Game 6, right on the way.
Qualifier 2, game number 6 of the EU FNCS, and we've got a little bit of a predicament on our hands, Levin. 5 spots for qualifiers and way more than 5 teams that are close to that spot. So what does that mean? Pay attention to that little yellow medallion next to these HP bars. So many people at 120, 100 points. Any of them in triple digits right now are up for contention. Even Vino, Aqua, Thomas HD, and Tripper, you look at them right now, yeah, they're gonna be at 76. They're gonna have a crazy game, who knows? Try a lot of influence on the lobby as we watch them fight again for the 6th time today off spawn.
Hello?
Yeah, this is a fight that has just been nothing but relentless. We saw it across many different regions. We saw it in qualifier 1. But today has just been so hectic. You're seeing Thomas result into using a pickaxe and it actually comes through and works. Aqua getting taken out in the game that seemingly mattered the most. Oh no, I've spoken too soon. Trippin, can he actually do damage? He can. Wow, Thomas and Trippin will win at the Slurp Truck in the final game. They've struggled when it went to that side of things, but finally winning it out there.
I'm convinced I'm watching an anime or something. I don't know what it is. They learn from like every mistake possible, even the one where, you know, we saw Tripper not getting involved in the fight, leaving Thomas alone. Oh, no hand. Big shot from down long range.
Hold on.
It's a headshot still straight to the dome. He goes down.
And bam.
Back up, though. That will
Bam.
increase the way Queasy work off of there. Peel.
Whoa!
This is so important. Once again, pay attention. 127 points on Queasy. This is not close.
There's a glitch.
It's tied to so many
Right over here.
Yeah,
What?
this is where things are really tense. So many of these teams seemingly capitulated in this last game.
Stop.
Thomas and Tayson, Thomas and Tripper versus Vino and Aqua.
Just
Finishes at
respawn.
3-3 on the day.
Oh, I finally
We'll
died.
see what that means for the standings once the game ends.
Cha-cha, boom, boom.
With a bunch of different teams too. Steady Cammy, how's their drop?
This is like...
Vidil, no, Riley so close to
Oh!
so there has to be a fight as well.
They're playing a real match.
Up in the business. Right now, today, the shots this man's been hitting have also been absolutely insane, specifically in the 4th and 5th zone, the mid game. Can we let the beast unleash and get to that point? He has to kind of make it through the first. And with 123 points, he's also kind of in contention for that 5th place slot. Milad is there too with Shady. A double-digit Elim win could possibly get them towards a little bit of a chance. At the top side, 150 points almost. They might need a little bit more magic, but they'll be trying off spawn as well.
Yeah, we've not seen much action over here at the Daily Bugle, but lo and behold, the final game will always deliver something. And like you said, Flodax has just been on one today with the sort of shots he's been hitting. And they're comfortable at this spot. Greek talks about how they landed here in the previous season. They're comfortable. But will that translate to the win off spawn in a game that is so important? Because You cannot afford to go down, especially at 7th phase, when there is genuine hope that you can push your way into a qualifying spot. It would be heartbreaking to go down now.
Meanwhile, up on the feed right now, Satan and Dark is also getting a few picks off Spawn. A lot of people are bleeding inside their POIs. Why is that? Why is game 6-1 where things might get a little bit lighter, a little bit faster? It's because everyone has this mentality when they're, you know, a little bit behind that, hey, if we get an insane game, if we start fighting right now, there might be a chance to move all the way in. No Riley Badil want to replicate the ease of pressure last game, but that starts with tense fights at the start. They basically had a nice pickup. 3 different teams they just eviscerated before that third zone kind of even locked in. They're trying to bully down Jet Smog right now, but this fight is not going to be as easy as the prior game. Every duo also learns.
It's actually going down.
Their opponents a lot more careful in this one, not going for the all-in.
I love Norati just there hitting us with the little edit course, just showing off some flashy stuff here as the game starts to pick up in intensity. We're seeing things aren't looking too good right now. Rifty is a bit low on HP, needs to make sure he stays close to Flodax. Can't afford to split up too much, and that's really nice. The knock is huge, it gives them the leg up in this fight. And you can see here Shady just unawares, doesn't really know what to do in this moment, and I can't blame him. It is such a difficult situation to be in.
It's like Flodax can like go through these walls somehow almost and go for shots, and once again a peek of him and he's down. This man is just nasty with it.
Didn't even hit the shotgun shot. He didn't even need to though, right? Just went full in with the SMG and it was enough. Really nicely done. Jamsid, who was still playing on high. Quite impressively as well. A bit of a surprise there. I feel like high ground's been a mixed bag in many of these games. Now we're seeing them fighting over a couple of times. It doesn't look like it's going too well for Jamsid, but United will come through and save the day. ST taken out, and Lowless will follow as well. Even more emo. You love to see it, right? It's the final game. Everybody knows how. That's your tournament done. You can get an early dinner.
Oh my god. That is just ruthless though. The soccer ball or the football? Apologies, gotta remember where I am.
Remember where you are, bro.
Save.
Yeah.
Hopefully. My apologies. No, it's like I think for 2 United right there, that looked like the easiest drum shotgun elimination I've seen so far. My man wasn't even sweating, trying, or even moving the mouse. Like he was just walking.
Yeah, that looked pretty free. It did look pretty free for him. But that's nice off Spawn. That gives them a fighting chance in this game. And this is a replay of some of the action we saw off Spawn. Thomas didn't even need a floor spawn. The pickaxe is good enough. But Trippin really was the one to save the day.
Explain to me, how did he get the shield midway through? Because we were hitting white HP completely. Is that like a cavern specific thing where both teammates just get max shield at some point? Who knows? We'll do some investigations. And that sounds so like lawful. I don't know what it is. I'll figure out what's going down.
Do some investigations. Oh, goodness, Wager.
Listen, I'm a multi-syllable man, right? I go for the maximum amount of letters per word.
Ah,
so
yes.
I'm just gonna figure it out. That's all I'm saying. I'm very curious.
Okay.
Even that just seems so, I don't know, dramatic. I'm interested. You know, fun. Let's go.
Let's have fun.
Can we see that? Up inside a very beautiful house. Imagine living here, actually.
Nice house, but
yeah.
Can we talk about what's going on with these guys, right? You know, we talked about teams capitulating in the sort of final games. They were sitting in third when we watched them last game. Things didn't quite go their way, so now, just outside of the top 5, right? I spoke to Queasy, and he said, look, he wasn't very optimistic, but he said, look, we might not qual today, but we can practice. Qual 3 will be good practice for semis and finals. And I'm like, bro, you just want an FNCS. Like, everybody thinks you're the best duo in the game. You just want an FNCS. I don't want to hear about no qualifier 3 from Queasy. You know what I mean? I want to see you straight to the finals. So we'll see what they cook up in this last game, but definitely a nervy situation for them.
I want to see them get straight to the zone, man. Let's worry about finals in a second. These guys are taking some unnecessary shots right there, spending a little bit too much time on that storm surge type strat. But I had a feeling we'd have a few north zones. I think this is like the best day so far for them overall, and how well they could perform. It's just that one game. Have to go back and even bottom view and see exactly what team was above them, what were the circumstances, why couldn't they just relieve the pressure? They had a pad, they could have easily half padded way past. I'm also hindsight Harry here, you know, sitting on this casting desk in the sky saying all this stuff, but that game I think would be the difference maker if they don't qualify today.
Yeah, hindsight Harry's Kiduo with the sneaky beaky like plays.
I swear to God, I did.
Fork didn't see it coming. Well, Texas maybe did, but even then, it didn't looking too great. So this might be the end of a run for them. Oh dear. They're in 6th place. They have ambitions of making it into the top 5, but if things keep playing out like this, maybe no. Fork will try and look for the way. You gotta wiggle, son. You gotta wiggle. Goes down in 6th place. No qualification for them. That is tough.
Is Hen okay? What? Did you see that? Did you see that? Were we watching the same thing? Okay. To explain for anyone that missed it, this man used the whole med mist on the wrong setting. He was spraying Queasy the entire time. He was the one who was low on HP. Hey, I'm not sure if that's a good thing, you know? I'm not sure if I'm worried or if he's that unhinged right now. This man's gonna hit some crazy shots. Hey.
We must bother do this. We must bother.
Levin, that was like 100 HP of the mist, just like, I thought he was bugging out.
This though, this is a bit nicer. This is some vintage Queasian end. Don't actually connect with any shots, which is tough, but they do like to make these sort of sneaky plays to deal with their surge, unfortunately. I'm bigging up all these people, right? Like, you know, trying to big everyone up. Ooh, nice. And getting let down.
That is our job.
I do want to formally apologize to Kelly and the whole of NA West. I take back everything I said. I don't want any problems with anybody from NA West, so apologies there.
Levin, what happened, man? You were just talking about how, hey, you got to be confident. You know, you get in a fight, you got to stand your ground.
Nah, I don't want to move Kelly. No, sir. Not me.
You have high ground advantage, man, in this fight. You got first shot off. She's low on surge here.
She hits max damage.
Respects. Makes sense, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm acting like I wouldn't do the same thing, so. Oh, you. Good form from Rifty here. Very good form.
Good form. Sorry, Asia. Are these guys calling? Is the question.
If you're gonna ask me if they're the GOATs right now, I might have just literally disconnected.
No, of course not. Those are forbidden words. But
yeah,
do they qualify? Do they hold on to 5th?
It all rides. You know, sometimes we favor certain teammates in the duo. I think it all rides on Flodax. This is gonna be a Flodax diff. But see, this is kind of a paradox. If I say that, you know, well, on the other side, Rifty starts to pop off. Then it's a Rifty diff. My answer to you, Levin, is I don't know. They have to play well. But do I feel like they might be able to? I think they kind of filled the gap in the server that Vadil and Noah Riley filled. People that might not just, you know, if they don't start off the end game with aggression, with some sense of control, it's going to be hard for them to kind of come back and take it. I don't think Flodax is necessarily the best survivor in these end games, these moving zones. So you'll have to find a little bit of an advantage to start things off, get a boost on the ride, and then start pedaling. We'll see if it's possible. Rifle and Marine get their competition stopped. Seti and Kami, I would assume about 10, maybe 20 points, depending on how close this qualifier is, from racking in their spot in the top 5. Second overall right now, but once again, Ziandi, who qualified from Synapse Station yesterday, or on Friday, excuse me, 172 is what he reached up to. So this entire total will rise overall.
Yeah, We'll see who just sort of gets locked out of it. Kiko and Dretta have sneakily just sort of hung on throughout today. So if they're going to have a big game, now would be the best time to do it. There's a lot of firepower, especially with Kiko. He likes to hit a shot or two. And they've been very consistently getting a bunch of eliminations, it feels. But can they get deeper into these games in those final moments? Can they get a top 5 placement with all the eliminations they get? That would be monumental for their chances of qualifying.
Chips, art skill. That last game really put a leg up on them in terms of how far they made it in. The amount of eliminations that Arsenal had as well. I want to see if that replication can come through here. Once again, peace of mind for them, I think, is what they were looking for this season. Finally uncontested off the drop. Wasn't the same in previous seasons, previous chapters that even, like, there's always that one team that we watch sometimes, game 3, game 4, that's like, you know, 60, 40 points behind the pack. That's always in a mid-game fight against like 7-Tor or someone. I feel like, you know what type beat I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's been T-Chips at Arsenal for so long. This is like one of the first times where not only do they have their spot kind of relieved from that job, but they're actually looking good in a game 6.
Well, the big thing is, right, T-Chips and Artskill very much would rely on the mythical web shooters last season, and this time round, well, maybe they won't have the benefit of that mobility, but they've still been able to manage, and like you said, doing quite well today is huge for them.
Okay, for deal setting up right now as well. 9 chunk splashes in the inventory. Have to assume some of these will go down at some point. Talk about getting knocked out. Queasy is looking good with Hen. Why did I assume one of these guys was knocked? I'm actually losing my brain and mind. They're the ones actually eliminating opponents inside the cavern. They've kind of went around the entire world on the right side of the zone near the sanctuary, all the way back up top towards the lumberyard. Now here in the cavern, they are still moving in. Once again, they're
you guys know how to get coins.
Tough for them, really expending all their builds.
You mean stars?
HD. This is going to be, if it goes all the way through, a crazy
how do you get them?
fight.
Yeah, this is huge. Thomas and Triple
how do you get them?
might not be in position to qualify, but definitely not the kind of team you want to run into in these intense situations. Plenty of materials being used, though, even though they're not going to fight out. And so you'll see Queasy and Pen, they'll just have to revert to the farming. They'll need to get that brick up, they'll need to get that wood up. Unfortunately, Command Cabin does have plenty
how do you
of
get
opportunity to do
stars?
so. And this is what we missed out on here. Hen hitting a big shot onto Mirza. Those are the kind of things that make the difference, and they go a long, long way in giving you a chance of qualifying. We'll see how they fare, whether they're able to get their resources back up, and if they are, they will be a team to watch. They know they're not safe, so they know that they have to have a huge, huge game. Unfortunately, this time around, Shire, the zone's been somewhat favorable.
This is a little bit of a spot where we've seen teams get in that favored zone, so used to just moving around and being down bad, so used to the struggle of this portion of the game. Once they get the 4th zone, there's not much they can really do. They're not used to really dropping under pressure, being inside that power spot. Steady Cammy right below Flodax on that side. And Dread here too, and once again, they're in 7th place. It's down to all the way top 7, top 8. Honestly, I'm looking at the scoreboard right now, Levin. This is just insane at what I'm looking at. It goes straight to maybe even 13th place. Diox, if he has a crazy game in this one and ends up with a nice win.
How do you get stars?
Around 120, 110 points. They're in the business right now. It's an 8-way different gap for top 5.
It's going to be a fun time keeping track of all the players who could potentially go down or maybe even go up in the standings. That will have some sort of implication.
Y'all know I love Puerto Rico.
Of course, these guys maybe a bit more comfortable than some of the teams below them, but very much still needing to close things out strong.
The one team we should be focusing on is the right side right now of your screen. Hen Queasy, the 5th place defenders so far, have had their position usurped for the moment.
Hello?
I would assume that has to be by Rifty and Flo. That's
Hello?
the people I've really seen get a few eliminations here and there. 129
hello?
points for them right now. If they go down, then I think that's where the floodgates really open for people to be able to break the
Why is this
tiebreaker
box
so
lights
far
not
in
working?
this game. 638 damage above, by the way, with just 2 eliminations. Think about
Being
Levin, how
weirdo
people
out of
influence this
me.
game. Talk about the influence. One big man is down. Thomas HD. Fury picks him apart.
Honestly, that'll be a blessing in disguise for the rest of the lobby, right? His ability to take points away from people through sheer dominance in endgames will be something that they do not miss. Rifty and Flodax, though, will make their pursuit to zone. Scary times, but we'll go through unscathed, it seems. A bit of wiggling there from Rifty. Hen!
You see the right side?
Hen is down. Hen is down.
They went for a crazy zone rotation, and Queasy goes all the way down to just a sliver of HP, getting focused. He uses a harpoon onto Hen to make him catch up inside the zone. His body, though, is getting focused. Down to a few seconds of just HP left. Queasy has to pick him up. No, he actually stays down, has to mine through metal and go for the revive. Is this enough of a gap? There should be people's builds!
No.
Slapped in the face by Kiko, and it's poetic with Andretta. They were right behind them in placement. They take over kind of that 6th, 7th place slot. What a way to go down. So close to qualifying, so close to the finals in the top 5, but even with 5 different North zones, it's not enough for Hen and Queasy.
Our reigning FNCS champions, they'll be forced to try again in qualifier 3. And with all the expectations in the world on them, they just fell short in the final game. Oh dear, back to the drawing board it will be, but it's not done. We still got plenty to go, and like you said, Shio, the floodgates are now open for many of these other teams to try secure their spot. T-Chips and Art Skill will make their way into zone. The vehicle coming in clutch, and they'll be able to secure the position that they want. Kiko and Trevor isn't with him anymore, and so now he has to solo clutch, and this is a clutch that means more than almost all the other ones we've seen combined. It has to be huge. The controller player from Portugal has to go absolutely crazy in this game, and he's currently down below Surge. And so already things are just infinitely more difficult for him in his journey to try and secure a spot in the final.
He's taken down the Wonder Kid already. Let's see if he's taken away some of that power as well. Got a bit more than what's readily available inside the Siphon. Kiko, 8 players need to go down, or this Surge will not stop striking once it starts. Has a shield keg, another one really to wait things out though. He's looking and seeing exactly what he can do. 44th place team all the way up top with Havre and Jet Smog. A Cavern duo. That's going to be looking to just interrupt many different people's qualifying runs. Meanwhile, Arsko T-Chips way on the front side, 4th place. Down below, Kiko in 6th. He's still rolling in, barely just there. Here's where the keg comes in, but he has to not only survive for a little bit of a moment against the Surge that's striking from the air, he also has to get ready for people to be around his box. This is going to get tough. Flodax on the bottom right side. Rifty's going down. He's up in 5th place. Right ahead of Kiko. Both now in the solo situation. He's still getting harpooned in front of him. He's also getting tagged by Surge. Lightning striking both these qualifying runs. It's going to be so tough that to stop to take a few minis. Kiko is still looking for a way to try to survive for any type of shot to get up above the boards. 228 for Flodax down to 2 HP. He's gone. 5th place interrupted. Kiko forced to just heal. The Fragger man, the person who's just so good at landing all these shots. His solution is aggression. He's been nerfed, silenced so far, and now he's finally free. Still in 6th place. He's trying to find a way to get ahead. 5th now. He's finally there with the placement. Kiko's doing it, but he has a long road ahead of him. Still 14 teams left alive.
And he just needs to stay alive. He's doing so well thus far. Flodax wasn't able to do it, but he has. But with so little builds now, things become an even bigger mountain to climb. He needs to try to stay up in this one. Cavi and Seti up above. Whose game can they ruin? Whose chances can they eliminate? We're not used to seeing them up on high, but we'll see what they can cook up there. Waze is a solo, sitting in 9th place. It's going to be difficult for him to try catch up, but maybe not impossible if he can start hitting some big shots. You can see him going for it in the zone. He falls.
Oh my gosh, nice seeing everybody.
In these final moments.
He get silenced down. 144 points is what 5th place ends at for now. Look for any teams alive trying to beat that mark for the moment. There are 8 different ones inside right now. Vidil at 3rd is going to keep pushing forward. 172, he's way above 144. He's looking good. I see Quebec all the way on the backside in 9th place. He might be striving straight for it. A 15th and a 13th place team as well will have to break 144 points for now. Artskill with 161. He looks so good alongside T-Chips. What a graduation in skill so far we've seen season after season for this team. Seti and Cammy also basically guaranteed at this point, rocking straight towards the finals. How will this end game really ride? Vidil, Noah Riley down in 3rd. They will be good too. Now we still have 4th and 2nd up, and 18th and 14th up inside the business. It might be one of these teams having to clear up every single elimination here. But for Flois, that possibly might mean taking down T-Chips and Artskill. That means taking down Seti and Cammy as well, and his teammate barely even has enough HP. This is an impossible task with a force you cannot even tame. Cammy now getting close and personal, looking for a few shots. They're getting ready to close this game.
Yeah, is that Cammy and Seti on high? Was it Tayson and Chapix? They're applying some pressure now, but can they drop down and get a bit of these eliminations? So many players falling, and they hear it. Cammy wanting to get in on the action. Wasn't quite able to capitalize, but get some of the loot for it. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get caught in zone. Flois and Mappy now, they want to win this game. They want to close it out in style. Mappy, though, will fall. And again, we're seeing Flois in these final moments, doing everything he can. But will it be a repeat of last game? Will he be able to turn the tide? It's going to be a difficult one. Cammy and Seti won't seem to let him do it. Flois will fall again. Cammy and Seti will rise. Winning a game from high ground, not something you'll see every day, but that's what it's all about sometimes in the EU FNCS qualifiers. The elite of the elite players showing that they are complete and can do it regardless of their layer. Cammy and Seti win the last game, but Shio Wager, so much went down there. Kiko and Andrea, Kiko just being able to stay alive was enough to put them in the top 5, send them to the FNCS finals in those final moments.
Absolutely, 144 is what they were at. At that moment, though, the entire tiebreaker bridge of EU fell. Were there possible placements given to other teams? That is the question so far, though, for all the live gameplay today. It's me and Levin 2K on the mic. Levin, it's been absolutely fun so far. And I mean, for you, any final words?
Honestly, man, I can't wait to see them leaderboards.
Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
Shio Wager, 11-2K, thank you guys so much for your incredible casting. My goodness, EU 6 games done. And now we have to kind of turn our attention to see which of those duos did qualify. Before we get there, Reese Boop, I want to get your thoughts on the day. Crazy.
I think it's the easiest way to sum it up, right?
Oh, buenos días, hello.
Vidil and a Noah win coming in there. Some cracks.
Oh, mira. Ya boté.
Let's be real.
From height.
From height, yeah, that's different. I'll tell you what, that's the change up, right? Here it is.
Yeah, Cammy and Seti from the high ground. Obviously, you know, they've been playing it super consistent today, and they've just been some of the best teams. Obviously, Anlex and XP were there as well, but, you know, we see a lot more for Cammy and Seti, and, you know, they're the type of team to have practice in sort of situation, you know, knowing that they love to practice with the variety of teams. They're just up there with the big boys.
And I kind of watched some of their games in the earlier rounds of this qualifying. I saw them taking height a bunch as well. They were yelling so many things you know, this video on YouTube, I can't say, so valuable. If you guys want to go on to win the FNCS, we know they've qualified to it. Now they're in the finals because they want to win. Having that low, mid, and high playstyle is so critical.
Yeah, and it's adaptability, right? Adaptability is the name of the game of Fortnite. You know, the meta changes, the game changes, the map changes every single week, and you just got to be able to adapt. But one of those teams who were not able to adapt today was Henning Queasy.
Yeah, a big shock from them. We saw almost what would have been, I'd say, the clutch of the day from Queasy here. Obviously, you see Hen get knocked on the far rotate. So close. I mean, this is like an inch away from being able to get him in. If Queasy was slightly more careful, potentially he could have gotten the res here by ramping over and preventing Kiko getting that elimination there for him. Probably not. Let's be real. It was super close, and that is a heartbreaking moment because these two are the reigning FNCS champions. Still not punching their ticket through, but this is the top 5 who have have managed to make it through here. And Lex next season first, no surprise. Seti and Kemi in second after that victory royale in the final game. No surprise there either. Let's be real. Vadil and Noah Riley pop it through in third. T-Chips and Artskill with their fantastic consistent performance in fourth, and in fifth place Kiko and Indra, the team who is a sleeper kind of all day that just continued to gain point after point after point. I saw Mama Kiko in chat earlier. I'm sure she will be ecstatic.
Yeah, it's one of those duos that you didn't really expect, right? This is, again, one of those duos that was a result of the EU snakening. And now it's basically happened. 3 of those teams that have qualified to the finals are now through as well, right? Joe and Ziandi, Tace and Chapix, and then Andretta and Kiko. The only one left is Thomas H. and Trippin to be missing out.
I am totally going off the charts here, but look at Flois and Mappy in 6th. They obviously just missed out on qualification. The qualification to the finals is top 5, but they got 142 points here, and that was pretty much in the last 2 games. Those last 2 games, they both placed second with 10 and then 12 eliminations. If they had almost managed to scrap out a couple more points, I think winning that final game actually would have qualified them over Kiko and Andrea.
Yeah, it was basically Kiko just surviving those few seconds extra, getting those extra placement points. And, you know, that's just the name of the game today, is just clutch solo moments. You just gotta have those ice in your vein in order to make it to the finals.
Absolutely, and it's disappointing for Rifty and Flodax there as well, who just went out. We saw them really doing well, but just going down early in that game. The prediction, Zeke, how'd it go for you?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It started really, really good, but it's okay. It's okay. We still have 2 more weeks, right? It's fine. You know, I feel like it went really well for you and Levin.
I feel like it did. I mean, second place. Yeah, I didn't mean to ask you, just you know, because I know it didn't go so well. But second place for me and Levin, my boy. I mean, I told you, when we lock eyes, when we have the same prediction, we're nearly always doing right there. What about you, Boo? How was your one?
Yeah, it was okay. Honestly, I think you guys sent me the wrong script or something. Everyone said that all of his buses would be coming from the south side today. You know, Veno and Aqua, south side bus path. I thought it was going to be a slam dunk, but unfortunately, I was wrong.
Nah.
Gonna have to hire a better script writer this season.
Nah, we're gonna get ready. We're gonna put my mum as the analyst. She got the last season's finalists right. She
Absolute legend.
Hen and Queasy last season. I mean, she's clearly winning the predictions now. Let's boop out, get her in.
There you go. There you go. This is part of our extended analytical cast here. This is going to be a whole multiverse of people. You'll love to see it. Fortnite fam, that concludes the action here for Qualifier 2 in Europe specifically. Don't forget, you like what you see? Well, we have NA East, NA West as well. More Fortnite. Other regions, 6 games in both. Make sure you stick around. Don't forget, we're back next weekend for Qualifier number 3. We love you. Keep yourself safe. Legends Landing, we love you. And we'll see all of you on the battle bus.
Peace.
That was a weak beep beep. I'm not gonna.
What is this?
Peyton? Hello? Peyton?
Here, be quiet.
This.
Oh. So.
This does not make sense. Who are you? Excuse me? Oh.
What's up, Fortnite fam? The new season means new loadouts for FNCS. Let's break down some of the most common loadouts based on
Wow.
your role in your duo, starting with the IGL.
The in-game leader, or IGL, is responsible for calling and mapping out your rotations, guiding your teammates, and often tarping. The IGL holds a vital role in guiding the team to victory. A proper loadout is a huge key to that success. This season, we have seen them focus on having one close-range weapon and one distance weapon for surge tags, and the remainder of the items will be heals. The most common loadout is the drum shotgun, burst assault rifle, and then a variation of heals to fill the remainder of the slots. This combo, however, doesn't cover everything, but that's why you have a fragger on your team as well.
Who are you?
Fragger is responsible for getting crucial tags and eliminations throughout your game. Now, the loadout of the Fragger is all about fighting and ending fights quickly. This is why we often see that the burst assault rifle is swapped out for the combat SMG. Meaning that in this role, you'll hold two weapons designed exclusively for close range engagements, while the rest of the slots are dedicated to heals. The Fragger loadout often includes the striker pump shotgun, the combat SMG, and then a variation of heals. The ability to clean up fights quickly and effectively leads to this loadout being a top pick among the more aggressive players.
You need to talk.
After hearing the different loadouts and roles, which ones are you choosing in your next game? Until next time, we'll see you on the battle bus. Beep beep.
What? Talk. I know someone's here. Okay. Oh. Which people are there? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Who is this? Did you see? Wait! Wait a minute! What? How old are you? You sound 5. Hold on. What'd you say? What'd you say? Sorry. Are you asking how old I am? You're glitching out. Hold on. Can you stop blowing your mic? Sorry. You on the your name on the map. Bad. Here, I'm behind you. Oh, hi. I can tell where you are. Yeah. Same. What's your name? I don't accept this thing. Got we can battle. I don't think I can. This is my dad's account. I'm a mama.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Chapter 3, Season 2 is here, and the island is changing. Let's talk about some of the most notable changes, starting with the addition of the blimps.
I gotta go.
From the start of the season, we saw the island skyline get swarmed with an array of IO blimps across the map.
What is this?
Additional loot on board to each of the areas they exist in. They also allow for the ability to fly and redeploy from the wings. These blimps can be found in Command Cavern, Cody Crossroads, Towers, and Rocky Reels. There's another blimp on the south coast, however, you'll have a hard time rotating from this one. Also, we can't forget to talk about the addition of the siege cannons in these areas. While they don't solely exist on the blimps, you are guaranteed to find them there. These siege cannons allow you to propel cannonballs towards your enemies, though that's not all you can do. You can also use them to propel across the map or into enemy builds. This is another tool for competitive players. However, the blimps weren't the only addition this season. We also saw the addition of an entirely new POI in the fortress, as well as some new IO bases.
The giant drilling machine known as the Fortress is located in the central part of the map. Although the Fortress isn't the biggest POI, it still packs a punch. Both inside and outside the Fortress, you can find several IO guards along with Dr. Sloan. If you can find and take down Dr. Sloan, you can grab her mythic Striker Burst Rifle. Be careful, Sloan won't go down without a fight. Then, step inside to find 3 IO chests along with plenty of other loot scattered throughout the POI. When you're ready to rotate out, simply jump into the siege cannon up top or hit the launch pad that spawns on the outside of the fortress. Multiple other outposts popped up across the map. You can find IO buildings scattered across the island. They vary in size and utility, but all of them include more loot. You can add these locations to your drop, or drop here to start your games.
Over on the south side of the island, another new addition in the form of Synapse Station has emerged on the island. There are several chest spawns throughout the POI and ample ammo boxes giving enough loot for multiple duos to land here. The best part of Synapse Station is not the loot though, it's the mobility that comes with the POI. 3 different rifts have the chance of opening, which gives you easy movement into the zone. Another addition you should be sure to add to your rotations are the mini craters that have formed across the map. Inside these craters is usually a handful of chests and shield barrels, which is just enough to provide one person with the full loadout. Although, not every crater is the same, with some having a slurp truck and reboot van inside. That crater is located just southeast of Broadcast Bunker and is home to both. With craters seemingly on every side of the map, it also offers a saving grace to those who either prefer the scavenger routes or got pushed out early because they had to retreat.
All of these map changes will surely keep you on your toes. Make sure to dive in and explore the map. Until next time, we'll see you on the battle bus. Beep beep.
Go. Oh no. Whoa. We can't go.
What's going on, Fortnite fam? It's time once again. NA East, I've missed you, and now we get to hang out for just a little bit with SPG and Sundown. Guys, what are we kind of expecting here coming into Season 2?
The tactical sprinting, I think, is going to play a huge part in how endgame is played. We saw sliding slightly change it, but I don't think that's going to be as big of a change.
I think the biggest thing we've talked about across the other regions is the change in movement across the game, whether it is the blimps in the actual movement, how you get around the map, or the movement of your character itself.
We don't have those movement inventory items anymore. So last season we had the peppers, we had the chili chug splashes. I think the harpoon is going to come back into a strong piece.
So how can we expect to see loadout shift in this season?
We saw the change to coolers as well, so they're now dropping floppers, which is going to come back into meta because players are now going to understand the value of playing in Storm. Because with all of the movement we had last season, getting ahead was so important.
NA East in particular is notorious for having these monstrously high storm surge numbers.
We saw the recent changes, right? You have to be able to make it to endgame. It's so much harder to actually survive there. So you're relying on impacts as well. Like, there's just so many layers to this.
I'd predict in NA East, as we normally see, a monstrous roster change. Even the week, if not sometimes in the middle of the FNCS, as players try and get their last chance to make it. I think this season, the duos who end up staying together are going to have a better run than previous enemies. Looking at the Boog and the Miros, looking at the Thatch and the Pam Stouts, the ones who were able to put together a consistent game plan, played a ton last season, and are able to take the game plan that worked there and then add the new components. I think as you pick up a new duo, particularly this season, trying to put all the pieces together, it's going to be really fun.
I want to sit here and talk more, but the battle bus is ready. Okay, it's warming up for us. NA East.
Do anything with Fortnite, honestly.
Go. You guys where can we find you if you want to give you guys a follow?
Pretty consistent branding for me. X Sundown, O is a 0 on pretty much everything.
Drop. Somebody's gun on everything as well.
Thank you guys so much for hanging
out.
Nope,
stop.
NA East, let's get this started. Beep, beep.
I'm to land up there because if I don't. God.
Last time on FNCS NA
I'm
East,
back over here.
Two teams stood at the top of NA East. The seasoned veterans of Agers and Kanata were hot on the heels of Peterbot and Vila, but unable to catch
I don't like it.
Reigning FNCS champions of NA East, Nero and Fuga, also booked their tickets straight to the finals. After they snuck into the top. One thing is guaranteed. These players are not rookies.
Fear.
All of
Oh my god.
Participated in
Bro,
last season's FNCS,
there's an
and
elevator.
they're ready to do it all over again.
Let's go.
Who will join these veterans in the finals? Find out now on FNCS NA Qualifier 2, Round 4.
Don't go down. Oh, that's cool. He's still going. Yep,
have already
it's
confirmed their
still going.
places in finals with another handful eager to siege cannon their way into the ultimate
I'll
showdown,
watch
playing
the stream.
the Axe of Champions. Tonight, the journey for FNCS Glory continues right here on FNCS NAE Qualifier 2. Fortnite fam, my name is Adam Savage. I'm delighted to be your host once again. What is going to be an amazing day of Fortnite action. I must say as well, a very happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there. A big shout out to the mums of players who are competing in the tournament tonight as well, and thinking of all those who find today very challenging as well. Boy, do we have an amazing evening plan for you. But it's not just me, as always. I'm joined by the one and the only Vivid and SPG on the desk here. Lads, fellas, boys, I think tonight is going to be pretty exceptional. We must go straight, Vivid, straight to qualifier 1 there. We had 5 teams. We saw Zeke highlight them in the kind of the reel just before the show kicked off, and 5 big names. But tonight, we have 50 duos, and the teams, every single player in every duo seems to be or have some kind of legacy in Fortnite to a degree. Tonight is going to be massive.
Yeah, the players coming in to round 4 today are not shy of Fortnite competition at all. Very, very excited to see. And you know, when we come over in between qualifiers, it's always great to see, right? Because we're kind of losing those 5 teams, and they created so much hype for us in that first qualifier. But now it kind of opens up to all new players to create that hype for us here in qualifier 2. So I'm excited to see what the competition brings today.
Right, creates that power vacuum, and we've already seen some teams try and figure out where they're going to be landing based on where those top 5 teams from last qualifier aren't landing. But you know, quick shout out to all the moms and Mama SPG. Happy Mother's Day.
Nice. You know, I think you're right. A power vacuum is a great way to describe it. This is the great thing about this show. You are going to see it all unfold before your very eyes here. All these duos competing. Tonight, you can see here on the broadcast schedule, Qualifier 2 highlighted for you guys, May 8th. That is what's happening right now. We have 5 already gone through in Qualifier 1. Tonight, 5 more will join them in finals, making that 10 already that have gone through the finals before we get into Qualifier 3 next week, and then followed by semi-finals and finals. Remember, in Qualifiers 1, 2, and 3 as well, all teams competing for those semi-final points. Vivid, walk us through the format. Take us there, baby.
Yeah, so focused on the left side here, we are in still week number 1, but qualifier 2. So we have had that first qualifier. We played 4 rounds between yesterday, or we played 3 rounds between yesterday and today. Round 3 just finished up, so we're coming into round 4, where top 5 will advance, and then every other duo will gather up some series points to work their way towards those semifinals. And after we conclude semifinals, we will have 50 teams gathered and ready to compete in the finals, where we'll have 2 days, 6 matches each day to crown our champions this season.
Now, Vivid talked about the overall format. Let's talk about what we're playing for here today and our point format. The important thing is those victory royales. That is what everyone is trying to get. That's 32 points, and within the top 5 is where you get a ton of those points. We see it decays and keeps going down. Starting at 35th, you start to get 1 point per placement, and the higher up you go, the more points you're going to get. In addition to placement points, you're also going to get 3 points per elimination, and we've seen some big games coming through with those elim points, pushing teams up the leaderboard.
Yeah, spot on there. I think as well, you can see here in the format, 25th position is 3 points, and upwards from there, it starts to escalate very quickly, the amount of points you get, depending on where you finish in each of our games. We have player lists as well to go through. You mentioned how big the duos are tonight. Vivid, who sticks out for you in our duos competing?
Immediately, I see Day and Clicks up there. They did finish first out of round number 3, so excited to see what they can do today. But then look, we have Scented and Cold here on the left side. 33 FE is actually Cold.
Oh my god.
Fortnite is indeed crazy, but Illis and Jack returning.
There's the fight when it starts.
Back to try to get that top 5 position. SPG, who is sticking out for you?
So right in the bottom left corner, I see
I got the battle bus, but there's nothing else to do.
But they finished in our top 5 last
Except
FNCS.
watch the boring
Well
video.
at the beginning of the season, they decided to play with other people, but now they're back, and they were a problem for other teams. I'm really interested to see how they play today. We also have D-Roller and M-Pen, who just narrowly missed our top 5 last qualifier. They were up there for most of it, and we have a lot of other teams. Spade and Chimp, another team that did well during the previous FNCS, coming back. They qualified for qualifier 1.
Up here.
Now in qualifier 2 once
There's
again.
the elevator.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, one thing is,
There was an elevator.
Last qualified 2 days ago, should I say? You guys were amazing. The chat right there. Big shout out to you guys in chat here. Let us know who you think is going to qualify as well, because you're a big part of this show now. Of course, let us know. Share the love. Let us know exactly who you think is going to be
Maybe it's a
of course, you're on the show as well. We love to give you guys a bit of kind of insider scoops as well regarding some of our players and the fun things that are happening. And here's something for you. This is called Ask a Pro NAE Edition. Check it out.
The sun, my sweat is explore the little
So I don't always
thing.
have this great of an attitude, but you know, I'm working on it.
I feel like streaming is huge, and just like people like showing your personality.
There's just no feeling.
Oh, there's the elevator.
To that.
Just shower every day, just once a day. That's all it takes.
Like anything can
Should
happen,
they
to be
go
honest.
up? Should they stay on the second floor, or should they go on first?
It's crazy.
Slothy girl, 25 is going to go on the first
Still
floor.
good and not dirty. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because like when I wake up and I shower, like it just makes my like hands feel weird, and I usually play bad.
I think it's once a day. It's
Whoa.
really good. I usually shower like once a day.
That's
usually
the
right
old
before I get on, so
bus.
I'm refreshed.
Definitely
Wow.
once a day, minimum.
That's
I know
really
some
cool.
gamers that do not do that. I know that for a fact.
Is there any underrated duo that you think could have a breakout performance?
Glaze and Trashy are doing really good right now, and I feel like they're working hard and they're placing, and I think they could do good.
I think Dubs and Mega are going to have a very good season. I think people aren't thinking as highly of them.
Oh my god, me too. And Shadow 1X is going to do really good in this FNCS.
Bro,
Joji and
who's
Hurricane,
still
they're
watching the
not really
video?
underrated, but I think for comp-wise, like they've been doing really good, and people kind of overlook them.
What's the most effective way to make a name for yourself in the community?
To be honest, just like do all your socials and just try to place as high as you can.
Probably just placing in cash cups mostly.
Like people really look out for like solo tournaments, especially for like looking for like a new duo. Like people want to
I
see
do
how you
twice
can
a
do like
day,
by
so-
yourself.
Just know that you're really good if you stream every event and plays well.
Everyone roots for the underdog, so if you're making a name for
Yeah,
yourself, FNCS is the place to do that.
Well,
How did it
technically,
feel getting your best placement in the
that'd
FNCS
be
Grand Final?
I got my
one
best placement
a
in Season
day.
5 in trios, and it felt great because
No!
I never did really good in a big team mode.
Third place in squad meta, so that was Chapter 2, Season 1, and that whole FNCS was very fun. I love squads. I wish we have it again someday.
First time it was pretty good.
What's
I
your
got
name?
second like 4 times in a row, but
I have no
like,
idea.
towards the end it
I
was
want to
a little annoying.
It honestly
make a
felt
new
really well,
friend.
but at the same
Hey,
time,
bro, you want to be friends?
I could have like won a lot more. And
When you see the
Hello?
leaderboard and then you're, I don't know, first.
He wants to be friends. That's fine.
Who's your role model?
Okay.
I really look out for Booga, one of the best player in this story is
What
really,
is
really good.
that?
like everyone hypes me up and says like what I'm capable of, so it's honestly myself.
All like the liquid people like Chap, Tom, Poach, like all of them, they're like super inspiring. Like you can do comp and keep content going as well.
Probably a tennis player like Roger Federer, who has like been on top for a long time and has a great attitude.
So back in the day, I was watching Apex, Temper, Fakey, and fast forward to today.
Everyone just watched the video.
One thing is obviously that's a bit closer to the players there you are there, and of course you can take it one step further and watch this entire game, some legends landing as well. We talk about this a lot. It's a great place, great activities, a fun place to close to us as well. You go there with the community, go and have some fun. It's an amazing place. You can find all the details and discover ways. Check out Legends Landing. We talk about the players actually, we focus on some duos in particular here. Vidsta, SBGeezy. Let's talk about one of our duos first and foremost, who could do big things here. This is Jam and Duke, of course. Why do we love this duo? Why are they so exciting? What could happen tonight? What might happen in qualifier 2?
Yeah, it's looking really, really good for Jam and Duke. They are a solid duo all around. Duke has so much experience with, played alongside Booga, so all that experience and knowledge and experience is very good about IGL and finds positions that he can do very well for us. Last qualifier 1, he did finish 11th, so pretty good. And looking at it here, total points 130 in that round 3 that we just ended up having. But the impressive thing for me here, SCG, is actually their average elimination, 8.5. They actually had the second highest average elimination from round 3, just behind Day and Click.
That is actually so important for these teams because they're such mechanical players. Even though Jamper does quickly lead the team, he is absolutely cracked at this game. We've seen him throw on a stream from time to time. And he just clips everybody. He's throwing
My
clips
mic,
play an arena. So we know that these two are going to play really well together.
Yeah, they really will. They came 11th in qualifier 1s. They're so close to that top 5 that it could happen tonight. It really could. Another duo as well we got to talk about. Obviously, these duos only qualified in the last hour or so at round 3 and went to round 4. One we can actually qualify as well, which is really exciting for us. Johnny and Macwood with us. We've talked about these guys a lot, and again, they are back here for qualifier 2. We're excited to see them compete. Why, for fans at home watching now, are they ones to watch in this competition?
I mean, Mac was playing forever. Actually won the first FNCS all the way back in season X. Actually, not second, just behind him. But let's not talk about that. He did just get second in round 3, just previous, as Adam said, just an hour ago. And honestly, the most impressive thing about this team is kind of their explosiveness. They are the highest ranking team at 36. Honestly, their average placement and their average elims not the best, right? But when they do best in these games, they do extraordinarily well. So expect them to have kind of these explosive games out of nowhere.
Yeah, like you said, Macwood's been around a long time. He's one of the top IGLs in the region, and he's done one of those combinations, you know, taking the veteran player, mixing it with a newer player that is, you know, a little crazier, really good at the game, but doesn't have all of that background knowledge. Just like Bucky and Cam, you see Cold and Scented, a lot of these teams and a lot of these veteran players are teaming up with the new guy, and that's what I see from this Macwood Johnny duo.
Yeah, you need a little bit of crazy here, so you need a little bit of crazy in your team, spice things up, make it exciting. And the fans
That
at
was
home,
on
you
my
guys
mic.
love to see that too. It's great entertainment. Another team as well that we must talk about Armament Threat on the competition last night. Indeed, Vivid, it looks like they're dropping towards the crossroads. I mean, this is going to be another duo who you expect big things. They've done so many, they've finished so highly at other competitions in the past, and here they are together in duos. This is looking great.
Very impressive duo here indeed. Honestly, Commander for a very long time was regarded as one of the best players in the NA East region. As you can see, their stat line, nothing really too impressive. And I feel like looking at their stat sheet here, they got a second, a sixth, and a first were kind of like their best games, right? So whenever they do make it into that end game, you can expect a top 5 finish for sure.
I am going to be watching the video because why not? I am bored out of my mind.
Post on social media a ton, and then just out of nowhere, they're like, all right, we're qualifying for FNCS again. We're going to do well. And FNCS, it came off the back of a couple of solo clutches for them to qualify for finals. I would expect to see that once again because these two are two of the best solo players, not just as a team. You put them by themselves, they're going to do some amazing things.
They really are, and that's what you need. You know, obviously trios last year, you got 3 of you down to duos now. There's only 2. You need to have that solo clutch ability, I guess. I've got 2 players in the team that can do it. Hey, that's way better in your favor, and it means that you could very well go all the way and qualify having that in your team. But you know, talking about like qualifier 1 as well, we saw that we had 5 teams qualify already, and we did have the likes of Boogan, Nero, and Co who made it through. But what was it about qualifier 1, Vivid, do you think our players that are competing tonight would have seen? They would have seen the 5 going through. They would have seen the way they kind of play the map and the kind of updates and whatnot, and how they kind of utilize them in their favor. What do you think might change this evening about our duos and how they approach qualifier 2?
6-4.
Yeah, there is a lot of information out there now for some of these teams to VOD review, and honestly, I think it was just mainly those refreshes in the endgame. Whenever we saw a team do well, they just had a plethora of eliminations, and usually those eliminations mean that they were getting refreshes and they were able to kind of just tarp forever and ever. Also, the usage of launch pads playing a very big part in qualifier 1, and you know, kind of being aware of your surroundings and reusing launch pads that other teams may place down.
Yeah, and the other piece I think is seeing how free high ground was at times. The team that is padding up and highest at a time, sometimes you can land on builds and be like, all right, I don't even have to fight for this. 3 out of the 5 teams won a game from high ground that qualified in the first qualifier. So, you know, do some notes, do some VOD reviewing. I would expect to see that once again.
6-4. Damn.
We're getting excited about as well. We're going to focus on some of those POIs right now for you guys. We think the action could really take place. First things first, let's talk about Tilt Towers. Vivid,
Damn, stop. No.
We could be in for a treat here this evening. What's going to happen at Tilt, do you think?
Listen, I'm just going to say it. Honestly, anything could really happen here. Pay attention to where everybody's landing. But as you can see here, Focus and Winter versus Jamper, or not Jamper, Jack and Illis potentially here at Towers. A very strong POI, especially with that blimp. We love to talk about how these blimps kind of add the rotations around the map with the siege cannons, and then just straight up the loot that is up there as well is enough kind of for a duo to just kind of run away with. So a lot can happen at this POI, but SPG, you know, round 3 only ended 40 minutes to an hour ago. We really have no solidified idea where a lot of these duos are going.
Yeah, that's a no hug. Wind up being a 3 or 4 team battle off spawn at Tilted. Jack and Okus, they've been battling for a little bit here at Tilted Towers. They've been going back and forth. Okus has played with a couple different teammates, and it's big enough to split. If these guys decide, all right, we don't need to battle it out off spawn every single game, that can happen. But at the same time, they could go ahead and try and fight for that blimp every single game, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch off spawn there.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about layers in the last qualifier as well, how that, you know, the Blitz add that extra layer now above a PLY, so teams don't have to necessarily engage if they don't want to. There's options around them to still loot up and rotate when they need to, but I think it's going to be mighty exciting to see how unfold, as you said. Another kind of area which I know is going to be hot off the press. I mean, that's I didn't even intend that pun, but the Daily Bugle, that was spot on, it's perfect. Bugle. What is going to, I mean, this is a POI, as all we know, that many teams do like to kind of, you know, to utilize. There's a lot there to grab, but Donnie and Macwood, Bucky and Cam, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, two high-profile duos, especially being that Macwood and Donnie just got that second place in round number 3. A lot can happen.
I am 664, and I'm _25.
This happened last
And
season.
you can look
It's
for
going
me
to
if you
happen
want.
once again, or at least it appears that it's going to happen. Who knows? There is some open areas on the map, but I do believe Macwood and Bucky both want the Daily Bugle. They want to claim it, so they're willing to fight for it. Bucky, Cam, they were the two that won off the first time when this happened last season, but again, it's a little different this season as we don't have the web shooters in the game. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out, Adam.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, I think that's what's exhilarating as well. You mentioned about how short in between round 3 and 4 there is. Like, it's going to be a melting pot of strats here. Kind of one thing that worked for you in the last round, this round, now you could be potentially contested. You have to change things up pretty quickly because
Bro, your name CM664 is
one
gonna
thing
find
we
me.
do love here as well, as we mentioned, is getting up
Sloth the Girl _25.
and one that's really exciting is going to be one to watch this season is Jamper, and this is our experience in the lobby with him.
What's up, everyone? Sundown here, and I am in the lobby
Hi.
with LG Jamper, and we're gonna hop right on into it. Jamper, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great.
Why don't you tell people what was the first tournament you ever played in,
Hi.
won money
Hi.
in, and what did it feel like?
The first tournament I ever played in was the Lux Cup. Or actually, that's the first tournament I won money in. But I competed in some of like the other tournaments, but I wasn't eligible because I was like under 16. So that kind of held me back. And like, I still loved the game, so I kept playing even though I wasn't like allowed to compete. And then they announced World Cup. It was age 13 to compete. That's when like I was like, I'm gonna get serious. I'm gonna focus it, and I actually made money in the Lux Cup, which is actually pretty early on. It's like the first tournament.
At what moment were you like, wow, I can kind of keep really doing this Fortnite thing?
Because I was doing average, you could say, in like a pro terms, average in like the tournaments and everything, but that was while I was playing soccer and everything. So I knew if I had more time to focus on what I was doing, that I would be successful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I kind of always knew, but
Yeah.
when LG messaged me, that's when like I knew.
So once you were able to focus on Fortnite, what kind of gave you that biggest lift? Was it being able to practice all the time? Was it really being able to dedicate to tournament? Do you do a bunch of VOD reviewing?
Definitely VOD reviewing. That's like the most important thing, because like, a lot of people, they have like an ego about themselves and like won't admit their mistakes, but if you take away your ego and actually like look at what you're doing wrong, like, that's what really pushes you above everyone else.
I feel like in your particular duo, that's made sense because you're paired up with Dukes right now, right? And how do you feel playing with him as Ben, and what are you excited for this upcoming season?
Playing with Dukes is actually really fun because I like, it's one thing to like play with your teammate just for like tournaments, but I actually like hanging out with him and talking to him, so it's really nice. And the last finals we played, the grand finals, Chapter 3, Season 1, he actually solo clutched like a lot of points, and he had a really good performance, so I'm really confident with him.
Yeah, and how is that knowing that at any point in time, not only are you enjoying playing with your teammate, but you both really have that capability of kind of popping off and having that big game? Like, what are the vibes like in the call when that goes on?
It's great, because like if I do it, he makes me feel like I'm the best player, and if he does it, then I'm just like, oh my god, Dukes, you're the best player, thanks for carrying me.
Where can people find you? Where can they watch you, catch up on the social media, catch up on your streams? What are your tags?
Jamper FN on Twitter, that's like my main platform that I use to like communicate with what I'm doing, and I stream a lot on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jamper.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much, Jamper, and that's been In the Lobby.
Why did you stop? Why didn't you just
Great to hear from Jamper there, talking about, you need to check ego at the door when it comes to these competitions, and a lot of belief in his teammate as well. Just like I have belief in Sundown there, like we all do. What a legend! We're going to find out about him at MDF very shortly. We get into the action, but we do still have predictions, of course, every week, and we know you guys love this as well, chat Rooney. We know you guys love to get involved with our predictions. Let us know who you think is going to win. This is our predictions qualifier 2 here. I had to go. It was perfect timing there. Jamper and Duke there going. I mean, they came so close last week. They came 14th in the last round for the first 4. I think the first 4 games they had, they came like first, second, couple of 6th places, a lot of eliminations. I'm feeling good. Logjam looks like a great POI for them. It could happen for them tonight. Vivid, walk me through your predictions.
Yeah, Adam, honestly, I think they're going to do well, but I think Day and Clicks are going to do even better, and it's awesome to see that MDF is agreeing with me here. Clicks and Day had an amazing performance in round 3. They actually came first, and here we're actually going to get the stat line for that. They had an average eliminations of 8.75. It was the highest out of any team in round 3. 2 victory royales. I mean, they just played so well, and I had the awesome opportunity to watch because Clicks does stream these events, and listen, let me tell you, from their POE, they are playing way too well not to pick them.
Yeah, they are playing well. Another team that we've seen some ups and downs from, but I do truly believe in is going to be Scented and Cold. When the moment comes and it's time to shine, these guys have proved to be able to do it. I think they will qualify here in qualifier number 2. Another team that has really come on as of late once they started playing together is Joji and Rokan. That's Sundown's pick. They have been playing well the past few weeks, so trying to keep a hot hand and continue that streak.
It's interesting. Obviously, we mentioned the last in qualifier 1 as well. This season, a bit different to usual. That there's a little bit of a kind of like a mini competition going on between the desk and the casters as well here now. So we're all kind of like going, we need to really think about placements here. What's going to happen? Because it kind of certainly has really raised the stakes for us here as well. So interesting there that you and MDF have gone for the same pick here. I saw the VOD as well. Amazing stuff. But do you think it could be the night? Because if you don't go through qualifier 2, there's a lot of pressure on qualifier 3 to have to qualify here. Do you think tonight is the night that a lot of players think qualifier 2, it has to happen now because the whole series points thing and trying to do qualifier 3 is just too risky?
Yeah, we are in qualifier 2, only 1 left, as Anna mentioned, and yeah, that could be a part of kind of maybe some of the nerves that some of these players are experiencing, right? But I would expect that out of like some of these newer players that aren't necessarily used to that FNCS environment, but are veterans like Clicks and Day. We have Scented and Cold here at Macwood. Like all of them, they're probably locked in by now for sure, so I don't think it's going to be a problem for them necessarily.
Yeah, do you know what, guys? We are right there, ready to rock and roll. Game 1 is upon us. Our delectable duo, Sundown and Monster D-Face, are waiting in the wings to bring us the action. Let's head over to the boys.
Hello?
Thank you so much, Adam, Vivid, and SBG.
Hello?
Sundown joined here by Monster.
Are you good at the game?
All the action. We saw qualifier number 1
not really.
on Friday, but qualifier 2 here today. We will see 5 more teams.
Hello. Yo, is anybody playing the box fight or no?
There's a reason I picked them. Vivid said it best.
I haven't done it.
His perspective. You can see the vibes in the chat. Like things are just looking immaculate for this duo of Day and Clicks. And not only that, they had a pretty exceptional performance the last time we were here, just casting over them. Slightly missing the mark. There's a couple, players that kind of open up the room here. But again, there is no time to waste, guys. The battle bus is ready. Let's get into game number 1.
Bert, why you following me? Yeah, whatever.
And away we go. Match number 1 of 6 here. We already saw the
action. Yo, what skin are you?
Nice, tight qualifying.
I don't really know the skins because I haven't played this in a long time. But my name is SoftyGirl_25.
Macwood in the bottom right hand corner. We got Bucky representing G2 and
What? Okay, that dude wants to kill me.
Yeah, and the one thing to really put this all into context, ladies
and gentlemen, are you gonna go with the white hair?
Yes. Time to figure out where exactly they are going to jump. What are they going to claim for Bucky?
What does your name have to go in it, bro?
Bro.
and Macwa do not want to go ahead and contest against them. They've decided to
Oh,
possibly
really?
land around the Sleepy Sound, where Senju was also deciding that he was going to transfer out of. So a lot of
I'm not going over
shape-shifting
here then.
happening on the map right now. A lot of players just deciding, hey, we
Somewhere
got to play a little bit differently.
Bro,
How
is
do we
anybody
maximize
playing
our
the box
points here?
fight? Because I want to do
With
box
only
fight.
6 games, Sundown, you see
Everybody's
it
playing the
really
box
comes down
fight,
to playing
yeah.
all of them well.
It's because
If
they're
the
doing this
last
intro
qualifier that
thing
we
on the
passed over was
screen.
any indicator, it's that teams can really break away with the lead and
I'm
not
gonna do this.
Yeah, you just kind of hold on to it, but right now somebody's
Because
trying
I've
to
done
break
the
away
box
and
fight.
just hold on. You can see
I've
Blair
done
running away
it
from Tenley.
once.
Pickaxe damage coming through, but all of a sudden
Times.
Tenley
That's
gets
how I
a weapon in
have
the chest, and the situation
160
gets real awkward. It is a
coins.
1v2, as you can see, Sin has been able to pick up
What skin are you?
elimination already, but looks like Blinn just trying to get away, trying to find a little bit of space. He will have the ability to disengage if he can get out of here, but Tenley has absolutely no threat. I mean, you could throw a fish at him, but that's
About some dumb
On the
tournament.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like,
platform.
maybe you just
Or no,
right,
wait,
go in there,
it's
get
just
that
you.
pickaxe swing, but
Hello?
they've allowed him to have a little bit more time than he probably would have liked. The Ranger in hand for the opponent on the other side. Sin's gonna go ahead and commit here to pistol. He should win this.
Hey,
Okay.
I'm
It was
just
closer than he probably
gonna
would have liked.
Are you
looking
for
And
me?
it is a 2 elimination lead now.
I mean,
for
not
Tenley
really,
and
but
Sin.
if
Yes,
you want
again,
to look
your
at me,
team
it's totally
showing up
fine.
today here in
Literally
this
right behind
qualifier.
me.
And let's talk about the significance of elimination, Sundown. We saw just
over
on
here. What kind of
Friday
stuff they
how
got?
big the points can really gap ahead as you start to pick up these elims.
Yeah, we saw it with Threats right off the bat, able to pick up that 10 elimination game in match 1 that basically kept him on the front page until the 5th or 6th match, despite them not really picking up any points after the fact. So the additional, you might think it's just 1 extra point when we get to this round number 4, but when eliminations were just 2 points before, that's a 50% increase from 2 to 3. So gotta keep an eye on that. So right now you can see FaZe Svented currently sitting on that mythic burst rifle, as well as legendary striker, or a epic striker pump, excuse me, and tons of shields. So they're gonna look to get us fight.
Yeah, it's that adjustment to the drop spot we were talking about. On over to Dignitas' Duke and Jamper here. Does seem like they have the lumberyard and some.
Who won?
Over there in
What the heck?
Quite catch the full name there, but could it be Coyote? Yes, does look like it. Shots going off there, so could they have found a llama potentially?
Alright, I'm gonna guess.
Llama 210 is
I'm gonna
Emat's
leave.
chip.
I'm gonna leave.
Gotta keep an eye on that, but somebody who had a really solid back half performance, we were just talking about it, was Duke and Jamper. I mean, they roared up the leaderboard and put themselves just outside of contention, unfortunately falling short in match number 6, but you can expect with those top 5 duos out, they'll get a little bit more room to operate, but also, Monster, don't forget, in Qualifier 1, a lot of these top names who we're used to seeing in NA East didn't make it all the way through the 4th round, with Stretch and Commandant being one of them.
Yeah, a lot of big names just slightly missed the mark. Edgy, not quite making it there. FaZe, Dubs, and Mega, of course, we're not seeing them this time around. And honestly, the list goes on, right? Bizzle's team, Pump's duo, and it just really plays into the narrative and the caliber that NA East players have to offer, and how many household names we have known to grow comfortable and fond of, right? That we've seen appear multiple times in FNCSs. So that just really shows you that on this FNCS stage, anyone can really make it here, but there are so many big names, big profiles, and skilled players. For Clicks and Day right now, these are some important battles going on here, very important early engagements, these tags, right? Game 1 in NAE Sundown is always extremely stacked. You can always, you know, put a safe bet, if you will, on the fact that there is going to be a surge active.
Yeah, and a little bit unfortunate there that Clicks actually ended up taking a headshot, so we'll be able to find those clomberries over on the side, but it's not quite going to top him all the way up. You can see he doesn't want to eat into that extra heavy pot just because of how heavy that Storm Surge has been. You talked about it, and we saw a prime example of it in match number 1 of Qualifier 1 here on Friday, where we still had 90 players up from basically this point up until that 3rd, almost 4th zone was closed. But right now, we're going to swing over to, again, might as well cue the circus music because we have everybody landing over at Command Cavern. Though Monster, instead of 5 teams this time, it looks like 3, but it might have just been because a couple of them thinned out.
I was going to say, it doesn't really matter. You're still going to have players come in from the opposite sides as well. So yes, the early drop is going to be highly contested. I mean, Bank and Elite here, they did it last week or just a couple days ago. They're here returning to do it again. It's contesting this drop. This time around, they are going to get 1 for their troubles, but how consistent
consistent can they make it? We saw just on Friday that they were only successful really coming out of game 4 or so. That's where they picked up tons of eliminations, and it, you know, kind of played well into their overall standings. But every other game matters equally as much when we have a 6-game format. There's really not too many opportunities to break away with those big points for Illest and Jack. I mean, the conversation is the same, right? You have a team like Oak.
Seriously doubting if I even have the strength to get it all the way up there. It is farther than I thought. It could possibly hit the bottom. So I got ready to full force launch this thing. Oh, I think you're right. I think you could hit the bottom. It's a little. It was just a little bit of hope. It's time to give it a full send. Even though I didn't hit the exact spot Dave and Buster's requested, they still invited me inside. You got it within 10 tries. One for you as well. It was great. Dave and Buster's bet me 1,000 tickets I couldn't get a plunger on their sign in 10 tries. So I went inside to talk to the manager. So, I make these... Dude, you know, let's go. First I got warmed up because this is the tallest sign I have ever tried to hit. I'm seriously doubting if I even have the strength to get it all the way